Hello everybody. I'm finally getting around to painting up that Marc Jansen painting I had started a while ago. So I'm going to try and take it to full color now. Um, let's see. So the first step, this palette you see here, this is something I got off of a video by Sycra, which I will put the link in the information below. Alrighty, the first thing I'm going to do is change the background color. That way I'm not working against this gray, which is going to go away anyway. Now this won't be the final background color, but for right now, I'm just going to put something greenish back there. Now that's on an overlay layer that you can see right here. I have an overlay layer over the background. I'm just going to merge that down. Now top, on top of the main layer, which is this one, I have glasses separate because that way it's just easier to paint under them. I'll add them again later. On top of this layer, I just have another overlay layer, in which I'm going to use a solid brush just to color this in. So I'm going to just pick the color off this palette, and just color this in. Normally when painting I use transparency, but for this I'm just going to use a solid brush, just to get some color in there. Now this part of the recording, I am recording the audio along with the video, but at some point I'm probably going to speed it up and do the recording later. Now here I'm just indiscriminately, it doesn't really matter, I'm going to be painting over this anyway, so it's not that important how neat I am, as long as I don't. I do want to try and not go over the background, but if I do, it's no big deal, I'll just erase it. And I'm not going to even worry about the hair at the moment. Alrighty, let me turn off the glasses layer. Alright, there we go, that's good enough. And now, let's see, what color should I make the shirt? I think just, I mean, pretty much the color it is. It's not really going to change all that much. Yeah, I think the color it is actually, that'll be fine. I might make it a little bit more of a cream color a little later, but for now that's good enough. Alrighty, so I'm going to merge this down. And then I'm going to save my document. And then I'm going to continue painting from there. Alrighty, now that I'm done with the base layer, what I'm going to do is switch my brush back to add transparency to it. And just like last time, the brush I am using is a regular hard round brush. I have transfer turned on, and on those settings I have it set to the opacity set to pen pressure, jitter 0, flow is off, and shape dynamics I have it set for 70% diameter, and I have that set to pen pressure. And that's the brush I use for 99% of everything. And now here I'm just going to start painting it up. I'll color pick directly from my palette, and then if I have any color mixing I need to do, I'll do it there. And now this is just on a normal layer that's above the base layer here. I also have a copy of the black and white layer, just in case something goes awry. I could always start again from scratch. I'm not really losing anything. And now for a while I'm just going to work zoomed out. I don't want to get bogged down in detail. And I'm going to work this way for a little while, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do. So I'm going to speed this up, and I'm going to add more audio later, so you can watch the sped up version. Because I myself, when I'm painting, I typically like listening to music. So I'm going to speed this up later, like I said, and the rest of it will all be done there. So I'm going to turn on some music. Okay, like I said I was going to do, I went ahead and sped up the the video there. I condensed about 4 hours worth of footage into 16 minutes worth. So yeah, because it was much easier to paint to music, because I get into a rhythm and I just go along with the music, and I much prefer, I can zone out a lot easier than while trying to talk and paint at the same time. Since much of what I'm doing didn't need really me to be talking while doing it. Right there you see me switching to a textured brush. I do that for the background. That's pretty much the only time I really use a textured brush until the final part where I go ahead and add some final details to the painting and add texture, and that's when I usually will do a texture overlay as well. But in this video I'm going to be bringing this painting all the way to the point where I'm ready to do final detail and texture work. For that I'm going to do another video after this one. So here I'm just making a bunch of adjustments to the painting as I go along, and I'm coloring it, of course. So you see me there, I'm playing with the nose, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the features, what they look like, and I'm tweaking the painting. And that's pretty much what I'll be doing for the entire length of this video, is just going through, playing with it, adding some more color, changing things, and really that's about it. And it's just a matter of taking the time to go through and do it. The technique I'm doing doesn't really change up until the next section where I do the detail work, and for that I think I'm gonna do the whole thing in real time so that I could explain exactly what I'm doing, because that's more instructional. This is just you know, this is kind of like the cake baking in the oven in those old in cooking shows, when they show you making the cake and then they slap it in the oven and then they pull out a nice fully done one. That's pretty much what this section would be. It's now cooking in the oven, so I mean the work is being done, but as far as instruction on what I'm doing, there's really not much for me to speak to. I mean, you can see what I'm doing. I'm adjusting the cheek there and moving the glasses around a bit, and and that just takes time to develop your sense of when something looks right and when it doesn't. Right there you see me, I just erased the hair that was there. That's because when I go and do the final detail, I'll put that hair back in there, but for the moment it was kind of distracting because I'm playing with the edge along the cheekbone, and that hair there, I was messing it up, so I might as well just get rid of it and repaint it in later. It's not an important detail at this point. There you see me, I'm switching back to a black and white layer, which I think I mentioned in previous videos. And what that is it's a color layer on top, filled with black so that I can judge my values. Another way to do it is, I think if you put a luminosity layer on top and fill that with black, I think it does the exact same thing. I've never actually tested them side by side to see if they give slightly different value results. I don't think they would. I don't see why they would. But no, that's an experiment I might actually make in the near future, so I know the answer to that question. But I don't really think it would. Now there, you see I'm playing with the eyes, and even when I'm done with this video, there's something about the eyes that aren't 100% where I want them to be. I think because in the reference, it's hard to tell exactly where he's looking. He looks like he's kind of looking at you, but not really, and I think I want to make it look like he's looking directly into you. And actually, the angle of the head almost looks like he's looking down upon you. And even when I finish this up, the eyes aren't quite having that correct look. They're looking in the wrong spot. And you'll see me play with them a few different times here, but I never quite get them exactly where I want them. And I think it would be with the one that gives me the most problem is the one on his left, my right. No. His left, my right. As it's currently facing, as you see the video now. There I'm just adding more shading to the neck and just playing around with it. And you'll see me later, I'll come back through and do that exactly again. Same with the shirts, what I'm doing now. I'm adding a little button in there, a little detail, or actually I don't think that was a button. I think that was just shading. But I'm going to come through, and before this video is out, I'm going to definitely be doing that again. several different times. Eventually I'll zoom in to 100% zoom, and there I'll be basically preparing the canvas to be textured. I mean, I put in some base texture with just the paintbrush, but I will be doing some sort of texture overlay. Usually I use either a sand for that or concrete, or it really depends on the skin of whoever I'm doing. If they have more pockmarked skin, I'll use a different texturing, obviously, than if they have more smooth skin. So so I'll go through my texture library and see what actually will work in that instance. But that'll all be better explained in the next video when I'm actually doing it. This painting itself was done in 3 separate sections, each lasting, the first 2 were an hour apiece, and then this most recent one, the one I finished up today, that was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And like I said, I sped it up about 2,000% to bring it up to a manageable speed, something that you'd be wanting to watch, because I know I myself probably wouldn't watch a several-hour video unless it was really informative. And I mean, I have watched several-hour videos before, so I suppose that's not entirely true. But there, it's the nature of the instructions slightly different. I mean, there. So here, without speeding it up, it really wouldn't be worth watching. I mean, it'd be so slow and boring. But when I do the texture section and the final detail section, then I want to speak exactly what I'm doing and why. Because I think that'd be a little bit more informative than if I was doing that in this case. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. As you see, there's still 4 more minutes in the video, but I'm not really sure what to talk about. Oh, I know what I can talk about. There's I have a coming up project that I'm thinking about doing that recently there's been all this talk about how they Photoshop models for magazines, and there's been different conversations going on about that sort of thing. And it's amazing the power Photoshop has and what you can do with that. And I got this crazy idea in my head. What if I took a picture of myself in a typical bathing suit model pose? And not a male bathing suit model pose. I mean a swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated female bathing suit pose. It's going to be ugly, really ugly, because it's me. It'd be ugly even if I was in a male's bathing suit. And then the point is that I'm going to take myself and paint myself and change it into a beautiful woman through Photoshop. And then I'll be recording the whole thing and doing the whole big giant tutorial thing over several different videos to show the process and how it's possible. I think that would be great instructional for both me, getting to know all the tools and whatnot, because I'm sure I'd have to pull out a whole mess of tools to pull that off. And so people can see exactly, I mean, if I could take my ugly self and turn myself into a beautiful woman, or at least the image of one in the painting, taking I mean, that would be crazy. So it just shows that taking what they normally do is nothing. I mean, but I see why there's some up in arms a bit about it, but you know what? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, ultimately. And let's face it, I mean, there's been a ton of research that goes into this stuff. There's a reason it sells. There's a reason they do it, whether you like it or not. So anyway, it was just a project idea I had. So if you have any thoughts about that, please leave them in the comments, and subscribe if you find this anyway interesting. If this completely sucks and you don't know why the hell I'm doing it in the first place, let me know that too. Subscribe to my channel, leave comments, nope, sorry, wrong site. Thumb up the video if you like it, so that I know who's watching, how many, and etc., etc. Comments and critiques always appreciated. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, I suppose I should point this out earlier. Go ahead and watch those. I will be linking to them shortly. At the end of this video, I will put some hot links into those. I've never actually used that feature of Camtasia before, so I'm interested into using those interactive hotspots, see if I can throw in those other videos on top of here at the end. And I think that's pretty much it. Look me up on Google+, Facebook. I'm in both places, but I prefer Google+, by a large margin. It's not even funny. Alrighty, so enjoy the last couple seconds of this. Alright, what you're about to see me do is that I slowed down this edit of this video. You see me, I'm comparing the original right there to where it is now. So you see me turning on and off that layer, the current layer, to the black and white copy you heard me say I made earlier. And there I do the same thing in the black and white overlay, just so you can see how much I've changed during it. Alrighty, and just click on either of these two images and you can be taken to the respective video. Those are the two that come directly before this. Don't forget to subscribe and comment and like and whatever else. Thank you again.